Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Rando Geek. We have an update regarding Dish Network. The link for the article will be down below in the description for you. It is coming from Fierce Wireless. So it looks like Dish has notified the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment on Tuesday that it will be laying off employees at its Inglewood and Littleton, Colorado locations. The positions include mostly sales account executives, but also data scientists, wireless engineers, and one program manager, they're saying. There was a statement released by Dish, and here's what they said. After a thorough review of operations and consideration of a changing business environment, we made the difficult decision to remove 53 positions in our company. They go on to say today's decision reflects our focus on improving company performance in an evolving market, and we will continue to make strategic hires and investments to support our growth. So that's not very good news. We hear a lot of news from Dish. Some of it's good, mostly bad. This is, I would say, not very good. This shows a sign of weakness financially for Dish. The fact that they would be eliminating departments and laying off more employees basically gives us the vibe that they're in trouble. They're having more money issues, and they're just basically a sinking ship at this point. There's very strong opinions about where the future of Dish and their wireless business and even their streaming services and cable, all of it, Dish Network as a whole, will be in the future. It's not looking very good. Many feel bankruptcy is around the corner. Many of you want this. Many of you want the spectrum from Dish to be split up into other carriers, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. This is a strong feeling that many have. Many have had not such great experiences with the Boost Mobile and Infinite brands for whatever that reason might be. Many of you simply don't find a desire to use them. You're not interested in the plans. You don't think it's worth the money. As far as the network goes, I think Dish Native has been successful. I think they've just recently reached a major milestone, getting out there and into all 50 states and reaching such a wide audience. So I think that that's something that we have to recognize. And I think it is very important to acknowledge that, because at the end of the day, the service is very important. But again, what good is a very strong network if many customers don't like how the company is being operated? If you don't feel the right people are in position, you don't feel the plans are desirable enough for you to want to use them. This is all very important, just as important as having a reliable network. Because if you run into an issue, you want to know that there's someone there to take care of you and help you with it. You also want to feel like you're getting the most for your money. Many customers feel like the Boost Infinite plans and Boost Mobile plans are very bland and that there should be more options for you. Now, I will say, primarily with the Boost Infinite plan, I think that those plans can be made better. Simply because the Boost Infinite plan the brand itself represents itself as a pool-paid type of plan. That's why a credit check is done, because it's considered postpaid. Therefore, they need to do better, because even though it's represented as a postpaid plan, it does lack postpaid features. One of them being a caller ID, which basically makes the plan feel like it's just prepaid. You don't have a name to go with the phone number. And many of you may not care about that, but a lot of customers on postpaid actually do care about that. They want to feel like they're on a postpaid plan. That's why they're on postpaid, because otherwise you can just go to prepaid and not have a credit check and not have any of that and just get the service that you want. You want to feel more premium. That is how most customers on postpaid want to feel. Then there's also a lack of perks that are being offered. Many consumers want to see Boost Infinite offer more perks, more streaming perks, more international calling perks, more premium data. These are all things that I agree Boost Infinite can do better. As far as the Boost Mobile side, I think there could be a little tweaking, but it is meant to be prepaid, and we all know that postpaid will always have better options, should have more options than a prepaid version of a company. With that being said, that would take money, right, to offer such things. We know that Dish is obviously having money, which is why they're laying off more representatives, right? More people. They're basically downsizing whenever they can in order to gain more money and continue to, I guess, use that money to pay down their debts. It got me thinking as to, because here's the thing. Like, I think the Dish Network native build out has been very successful. Most users that are on it have been satisfied. They think it's very good. Some are saying that it's actually been outperforming the other three. So that's great news, right? That means there's a real sense of accomplishment there for Dish, and that if they continue building and working on the network, it's just probably going to keep getting better and better. But that, again, takes money. And that's without getting the additional spectrum from T-Mobile now, right? Once they get their hands on that, they might be able to fine-tune this network even better. But it got me thinking as to whether or not Dish would do better continuing to downsize, eliminating call centers, eliminating employees that they don't need, just basically shrinking the company and following in the steps of maybe Visible, doing chat only, no call centers, less people to pay, no benefits to pay. Just continue shrinking and just keep an online presence and run it Visible style. They would save a lot more money. They can continue to do that for a while until they, earn more money in which they can invest in the company to build better plans for consumers that might have consumers more interested in signing up. They can also continue to pay down their debts, which they very much need to do. So I don't know if that's like in the cards for Dish. I don't know if that's where they're really heading and they're just kind of keeping it under wraps. But I think if there's any hope left as far as the company itself, there's going to have to be some kind of turnaround internally. Either they need to, like I said, continue to downsize, just basically make chat-only online customer support, get rid of some of the positions that are just not necessary, and maybe that would help them. Otherwise, internally, there's going to have to be more structure. There's going to have to be some switching around. Now, a lot of people are concerned because, we got news about Michael Kelly, who is the Dish chairman, resigning. If indeed he really is resigning, he could have been asked to leave. This could have been something being, represented as him resigning. Maybe we're just being lied to, and that's not really what the scenario is. Or it could be maybe he feels that the company is just not where he wants it to be. Doesn't want to be a part of it. Maybe he feels like it's just continuing to sink, and at some point it's just going to reach the bottom of the ocean and never get back up. It'll never float back up. So if that's the case, it's very possible, right? I'm not concerned that much with the chairman resigning because that could be a positive. If someone better was to come in and replace him and do a better job, this could be beneficial, right? So what has me concerned is the constant layoffs. Now, again, I don't know what it's really all about. I'm going to take it as a sign of weakness financially. Many of you are probably going to agree that this is why this is happening, that they're simply just not doing very well. And a lot of you really feel like they just don't think things through. They're just not trying at this point. They're a mess. They're not really sure what they're doing. And again, could be possible. They only have two options at this point. Well, they have three. They have three options at this point. The first option is to give up and go home. They had a nice run. They tried. They got away with a lot of things. No other carrier really gets away with this kind of stuff. The FCC has been very, very lenient with them, and they've given them a lot of chances, and they're still giving them a lot of chances. And this is the reason why Dish is still around, because they've had those chances. They've been getting quite a few passes. The second option is they can continue to downsize and follow more, like I said, in the steps of visible, eliminate the majority of your staff, which would open up a lot more capital for you. And then you can just kind of reinvest it into the plans and the overall company. And then as you grow, if you grow, you can think about branching out and adding back your call centers, opening stores, whatever that might be, after you've settled your debt. And the third option would be you've got to get better people in if you're going to try to maintain the way you are now by offering the call centers and stuff. You've got to get a better marketing team. You've just got to do better. You've got to get better people in there with experience, people that want to work, and basically just take it from there and just try to hit a home run with it. Those are really your only options. There's not much else that they can do. You know, if they sell off the spectrum, they can use that money to pay off their debts, and then, you know, that's it. Get out of the wireless business. But otherwise, those are really the options, the only options for them at this point. There's your update, guys. This is basically how I feel about it. You know, I'm a fan of Dish. I like to see them do better. I like the idea of them being the fourth carrier. I think the competition is good. I think the potential is there. And I do want to state for the record, for those of you that don't like Boost's customer service, I've spoken to Boost Infinite's customer service quite a couple times over the last couple of months, primarily to get my AT&T Boost Infinite service up. They originally sent me a T-Mobile SIM. I didn't want it. I wanted the AT&T version. I explained to them that T-Mobile doesn't really work good in my home, and AT&T is a little bit better. So they actually were cool enough to help me with that. They had one of their senior techs contact me back. They switched my plan over. They did the whole thing. Guy was very nice. I've spoken to a few managers there, very nice. I've spoken to another rep a few days ago when AT&T was down. I had some questions about the outage, of course, and then some additional questions about my plan, whatnot. Another nice guy. And it seems like they're all based in the U.S., so that's a plus, right? Because with a lot of companies, you're being transferred overseas. With T-Mobile, overseas. AT&T, immediately overseas. I don't think AT&T has any U.S. reps anymore. If they do, you have to be like somebody special to get them. And the same thing with Verizon. So, they're all pretty much outsourcing anyway. But I haven't had bad experiences with the customer service, is what I'm saying. Whether or not they're going to keep those reps, I think they'd probably, like I said, be better off eliminating it just to make more money. I think it's really the only option for them. They need to shrink the company in order to be able to stay afloat right now, because they simply have more debts than they can afford. And they're going to need that if we want to see better plans, if we want to see the network get bigger. The money's going to have to come from somewhere. I don't know if the merger alone is enough. The merger with EchoStar is enough for them to continue to push money into the company. Obviously, it looks like there's a lot of worry, which is why they're eliminating more staff. And I'm sure we're going to continue to hear about it. What the reasoning, I don't know if their plan would ever be what I said, if that's the approach that they would ever take, or if they're simply just falling apart and they have to get rid of people and there's really just nothing else that they can do. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by and watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.